What's up, guys? This is Chris from DraftDashboard.com.
Here are my DFS picks for NFL Week 3, Monday Night Football.
These picks apply for DraftKings and FanDuel. Before I get started, please drop a like on this video and hit that red subscribe button
And hit that bell icon
so you don't miss our new videos.
Okay guys, in this video, I'm going to give you my top DFS picks for this Monday Night Football showdown between the Dallas Cowboys and the Philadelphia Eagles. And if you stick around to the very end of this video, we'll use the Draft Dashboard tools to make a DFS lineup using the picks we just made. Oh, and good news guys, make sure to stay tuned to the very end of this video because we removed the box that was popping up and blocking the lineup. So now you can see a full lineup using these picks that we made in this video if you stay to the very end. Okay guys, NFL Week 3, let's take a look at this Monday Night Football showdown between the Philadelphia Eagles and the Dallas Cowboys. So at the quarterback position, both of these guys are in play here tonight. I like both of these guys. Let's start off with Jalen Hurts from the Philadelphia Eagles playing the Dallas Cowboys, who have the 9th worst defense overall, and they're middle of the pack defending opposing quarterbacks. Jalen Hurts has averaged 25.3 fantasy points per game on the season, and he's getting an average of 8.5 rush attempts per game. So I love that rushing floor, and he's going to be about 66% owned, projected at 22.8 fantasy points here tonight, and he's 11,000 DraftKings salary. Vegas thinks there's going to be 51.5 points scored in this game, with the Eagles trailing by 3.5. So Jalen Hurts has the better matchup on paper in what could be a passing game script, and then you got that rushing floor, and he's done well so far to start the season. So I like Jalen Hurts here versus the Dallas Cowboys. Now I also like Dak Prescott from the Dallas Cowboys. Now the Philadelphia Eagles have a pretty good defense overall, and they've been pretty good versus opposing quarterbacks. And Dak Prescott, he scored an average of 20 fantasy points per game on the season. He came out the gate scoring 31 fantasy points in week 1, but then put up a dud last week with only 9 fantasy points. But he's getting an average of 2 rush attempts per game. He's going to be about 66% owned, projected at 22.4 fantasy points here tonight, and he's 11,200 DraftKings salary. So both these guys are right around the same price, and this should be a close, competitive game, so it could go either way. So I like Dak Prescott here versus the Philadelphia Eagles. Okay, let's take a look at the running back position. So my favorite running back on the slate by a pretty big margin here is Ezekiel Elliott from the Dallas Cowboys. And Ezekiel Elliott, he's only averaged 11.8 fantasy points per game on the season. He's getting an average of 13.5 rush attempts per game and 2 pass targets per game. So not a great start to the season for Zeke Elliott. And he's going to be about 35% owned, on the field for 79% of the snaps, and he's projected at 15.2 fantasy points here tonight. He's 8,400 DraftKings salary. Now, with Vegas favoring the Cowboys by 3.5, that's not a huge spread, but it's possible that the Dallas Cowboys take the lead in this game, and Ezekiel Elliott gets a ton of work on the ground. So just looking at the other top back, Miles Sanders, he's 8,000 DraftKings salary. So Zeke Elliott is only 400 more than Miles Sanders. I prefer Ezekiel Elliott here versus the Philadelphia Eagles.
Before I continue with the picks, I'm excited today because we added a new contest for everyone watching.
If you want to enter the drawing for $25 PayPal,
all you need to do is like this video, hit that subscribe button, and make a quick comment below to be entered into the drawing. We'll reply to a random comment and let you know that you won.
And we'll send you $25 PayPal.
So it's that easy, and we pick a new winner every Saturday and announce them in our video. So get your comment in now so I can add another entry for you.
Now, Tony Pollard is somewhat interesting here. He got 13 rush attempts and 3 pass targets last game, scored 26 fantasy points. But the problem for me is that he's $7,600 DraftKings salary. So he's not that much less than Ezekiel Elliott. And I think Zeke is going to have a big breakout week here tonight. So I'm going to shy away from Tony Pollard. I might play a lineup with Miles Sanders as well, but I'm going to stick with Ezekiel Elliott and possibly even play him in the captain spot. Okay, let's take a look at the wide receiver position. I like CeeDee Lamb from the Dallas Cowboys. Now, the Philadelphia Eagles have been pretty good versus opposing wide receivers, and CeeDee Lamb has averaged 21.9 fantasy points per game on the season. He's been a target monster. He's averaging 12 targets per game on the season, 15 targets week 1, 9 targets last week, scored 26 fantasy points in week 1, 17 fantasy points last week. He's going to be about 56% owned. He's on the field for 83% of the snaps. He's projected at 18 fantasy points here tonight, and he's $9,800 DraftKings salary. So he's more expensive than Amari Cooper. So I think I'm not going to play a ton of CeeDee Lamb. I do prefer Amari Cooper over CeeDee Lamb to get that salary savings. And I think CeeDee Lamb is due to come down to earth a little bit. He's had 2 fantastic games. They're probably going to make sure that he's not going to beat them here tonight. So I like CeeDee Lamb, but I think there's other options on this slate. So the other wide receiver that I like is Devonta Smith from the Philadelphia Eagles, playing the Dallas Cowboys, who have the 9th worst defense overall, and they give up the 3rd most fantasy points to opposing wide receivers. Devonta Smith has averaged 11.4 fantasy points per game on the season, getting an average of 7.5 pass targets per game. He's been on the field for 86% of the snaps, so he's the leading wide receiver, and he's going to be about 34% owned here, projected at 13.2 fantasy points here tonight. He's $7,200 DraftKings salary, and this could be a passing game script for the Philadelphia Eagles in a great matchup. So I like Devonta Smith, probably my favorite wide receiver on the slate here versus the Dallas Cowboys. Now, if you want to save a little bit more salary at the wide receiver position, take a look at Jalen Reagor from the Philadelphia Eagles. He's averaging 9.7 fantasy points per game on the season, getting an average of 5.5 pass targets per game. He's on the field for 71% of the snaps, projected at 23% ownership, and projected at 9.7 fantasy points here tonight. He's only $6,200 DraftKings salary. Now, I do prefer Devonta Smith, but if you're trying to squeeze out that 1,000 DK salary, then I like Jalen Reagor here versus the Dallas Cowboys.
Real quick, guys, I got great news. For a limited time, we're offering a full 30-day trial to Draft Dashboard. You can try all the tools for NFL. NBA is right around the corner. This is a great time to get in and try everything for 1 month. The tools are all about saving research time. You can see the last 3 games, the fantasy points per game, the targets they got per game, so you can see how involved they are in the offense, the rushes they got per game. Seeing all this stuff on one screen helps you save time and make better picks. Oh, and if you're tired of doing research every day, we just added a cheat sheet that shows hand-picked plays for the slate. No confusing stat lines, no headaches, just a simple cheat sheet that shows the absolute best players for your lineups.
Okay, now for the Dallas Cowboys, I like Amari Cooper, and he's averaging 23.7 fantasy points per game on the season, averaging 10.5 pass targets per game. Now, he only scored 5 fantasy points last week off of 5 pass targets, but he was coming off of a monster game in week 1 where he scored 42 fantasy points off of 16 pass targets. So I think Amari Cooper is going to be the go-to guy here for Dallas. I think he's going to bounce back from that bad week 2 and have an explosive week 3. Maybe not as much as he scored in week 1, but I think he's going to score 15 to 20 plus fantasy points here tonight. And he's going to be about 50% owned. And I like this pick because he's on the field for 92% of the snaps, leading all the Cowboys wide receivers. And he's projected at 17 fantasy points here tonight. So I like Amari Cooper and also possibly a captain here versus the Philadelphia Eagles. Okay, let's take a look at the tight end position. So I'm just going to go with a salary saver at the tight end position. Yes, you do have Dallas Goedert, but he's $6,600 DraftKings salary, and he only got 2 pass targets last week. He had 5 pass targets in week 1. He is on the field for 70% of the snaps, and he's going to be about 14% owned. But I'm going to stay away from Dallas Goedert, although if you do have the salary, you want to play him, he's a fine play. But I like Blake Jarwin from the Dallas Cowboys, and Blake Jarwin has averaged 5.9 fantasy points per game on the season, but he's getting an average of 4 pass targets per game, and he's on the field for 53% of the snaps. He's going to be about 18% owned, projected at 7 fantasy points here tonight. But I like this pick because he's only $3,000 DraftKings salary. You got to save some salary somewhere, so I like that he's gotten 4 pass targets in each of his first 2 games. Week 1, 4 pass targets. Week 2, 4 pass targets. So he's involved in this offense. So I like Blake Jarwin here versus the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, if you want to roll the dice and save even more salary at the tight end position with a guy that really hasn't played all that well for quite a long time, but he does have a great matchup here tonight, take a look at Zach Ertz from the Philadelphia Eagles playing the Dallas Cowboys, who have the 9th worst defense overall, and they give up the 2nd most fantasy points to opposing tight ends. Zach Ertz, he's only averaged 3.5 fantasy points per game on the season, getting an average of 2 pass targets per game, but he's on the field for 60% of the snaps. He's going to be about 15% owned, projected at 6.4 fantasy points here tonight. But I think this is a good high risk, high reward play if you want to make your lineup different, because he's only $2,200 DraftKings salary. So a super salary saving play here, and a guy we know has big upside when he wants to play football. Hopefully we're going to see the Zach Ertz we all know and love here tonight. Now, this also could turn into a passing game script for the Philadelphia Eagles if they fall behind the Cowboys in what is a good matchup for tight ends. So I think it's a good opportunity for Zach Ertz. I'm going to have him in a bunch of lineups as my value play. So I like Zach Ertz here versus the Dallas Cowboys.
If you want to try all these daily fantasy tools for yourself, click the link in the description below this video or just go to draftdashboard.com. You can use our DFS lineup optimizer to build quality lineups using our picks and your own custom player pool. Click the link in the description below this video and try all these daily fantasy tools right now. Thanks so much for watching. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel and hit that bell icon so you can get instant updates whenever we post a new video. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, please smiggity smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Oh, and please comment below with your favorite player for this NBA slate. I love to hear what you guys have to think. Thanks again, and good luck.